كنت في عمرة في رمضان والتقط فيروس وللحين ما خف. أعتذر عن الصوت. واحدة من الأشياء اللي أثلجت صدري لقائي الأول مع مدام غادة حنين، مستر مارسيل حنين. شكر خالص لكم على كرم الضيافة. بالفعل كانت فرصة لتلاقي عقول، فرصة لتلاقي كثير من الفرص. الناس كثير تناديني بزنس وومن، سيدة أعمال، بس at the end of the day في نهاية اليوم أنا أشوفها تلاقي فكر لتنمية بشرية لشبابنا وأولادنا. شنو ممكن أنا أقدم؟ حاليا ما صار المطمع شخصي كثر ما صار المطمع مجتمعي. أطمع إلى شنو ممكن أقدم أكثر. واحدة من الأشياء اللي اليوم حريصة عليها تكلمت فيها يمكن اليوم، وإذا تسمحوا لي a little speech. بسم الله again. Your Excellencies, Madam حنين, distinguished guests, and a very good evening to our new generation of change. I'm always thrilled whenever I return to Beirut, to the mountains of Lebanon. Excited to be back in my own home domain, the wonderful city where I grew up, running through its streets and playing through the high roads and its mountains. When I first came to Beirut, I was 5 years old. Since then, everything in Lebanon is glued to my soul and brain. The sights, the smells, and my everlasting man'usha. I'm indeed truly humbled to be standing here today to receive this year's Honorary Doctorate degree. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the University Committee, chaired by Madam Hnayin, Mr. Marcel Hnayin, Mr. Anis Noumani, and thanking you so much for that, for elevating my status with such an honor. Thank you, Anis. I'm also here as a representative of all young and women, all the men and women in our region who dream of achieving their goals one day. What begins with a dream ends with utter, downright success when propelled by a V12 engine of consisting drive, passion, and perseverance. My advice to you, never listen to the hocus pocus groups that they tell you what to do. Just follow the intuition. It occurred to me today while I was gathering my thoughts for this speech that September 6th marks my first day in my first job 26 years ago. I guess my first boss thinks 2,600 years ago. But I must say, I also learned and watched to watch my words and be forced to swallow them. I'm still struggling, I guess. Believe me, I have worked my way up through every level. And this is for you, young men and women. When I had my first MBA, they put me in a Xerox room. I worked in the printing machine room. I started there. At my time, there was telex machines. No faxes. Fax machine was a luxury. No computers. Along the way, there was marriage and motherhood, but never made me wince. Managed to stay astride on both for a while. Dear guests, young men and women, we are here today and witnessing history in the making in front of us, on our very own eyes. History that we read in books for years and have always been intrigued by how it took shape. Revolutions, transformations, and reforms. All this is happening in a great way in our region. Regardless of the reasons that led to all of this, I would like to take the best stories and use them to demonstrate the greatest lessons I have learned and want to share the outcome thoughts with you. What's our greatest desire? What is your greatest desire? I guess to fulfill the highest, truest expression of ourselves as human beings. I am personally still on that journey. There are principles and laws that are universal. The minute we figure them out, our lives gets better, no matter who we are, no matter what our circumstances. Our region is in a mess right now. A good mess. We all know it, we all talk about it. A bit depressing, a bit overwhelming. At times, if we look at how much potential we have, and yet we are bombarded by images and informations that speaks to the lowest common denominator. We can do better, I think. We know it's true. We can grow ourselves forward. Sure we can, but the question will always be how. We need to accept the upcoming challenges with an enormous sense of responsibility, knowing fully well that the coming years, and perhaps the most important years in our upcoming half a century of Arab nation, the right selection of those revolutions will determine whether the new minds, and that's you, will settle into the high roads of progress or race dangerously towards economic decay and failure. There is a question of leadership. Is what is important in the current transitional period. How important? How can we do that? How can we face our current transformations? What can you do about it? Let me ask you the question. And let me ask everybody this question, the parents especially. Who led the Tunisian revolution that overthrew Ben Ali? Who led the Egyptian revolution to overthrow Hosni Mubarak? Who led the Libyan's revolution to overthrow Gaddafi? And who is leading the efforts in Yemen to overthrow Saleh? The answer is no one. No one. These have been mass movements, spontaneous, given shape through social media, and the techno wizards who have mastered the hardware. You. We are the software, I guess, the old generation. So is the leadership still important to modern-day governance, to corporations? And if so, in what embodiment? How must leaders adapt to the new circumstances? The new leaders right now, they have a hefty task. It's a major task. It's no longer ruling a country for over 30 years and 40. But what traditional qualities will remain important? What traditional qualities should be eliminated because they no longer adapt? How can a leader stay ahead of the information curve instead of always being on reactive mode? How do we use social media to shape and create models for stability? In a way, we have achieved sort of ultimate democracy. If you look at it, it's the ultimate form of democracy, what we have right now. As everyone has a voice, the youth has a voice. 62% of our population ranging from the age of 16 to 26. You are the new baby boomers, and we rely on you for our future. How will a modern leader be most effectively to try to distill the essence of shared aspirations from an increasingly vocal public and transform them into policies and programs? I would argue that strong leadership is more challenging and important than ever. Therefore, as you go forward today to explore, to stretch your horizon, and to make your mark, remember this. It is you who will decide the future. It is you who we will look up to. And it is you, at the end, who will decide the progress and the fulfillment of our region's destiny. It is a life class in the making. Good luck, guys, and may God bless the human race. Thank you very much. And by the way, before I forget, my business card and details are there, so start posting your CVs for jobs.